All right, moving on. Well, America's student and work visa system is undergoing its biggest tightening in years. And Indian students are at the center of this transformation or change. According to US State Department data, the US issued 393,000 F1 student visas in the last fiscal year. But approval rates have fallen sharply in 2024 after new layers of security screening and document checks. The Department of Homeland Security has proposed replacing the open-ended duration of status policy with fixed admission terms, generally 2 or 4 years, after which students must reapply to continue. Universities warn this could interrupt degrees mid-course as well. And under the proposed rule, the grace period after graduation shrinks from 60 days to 30, cutting the time students have to secure opt, shift to H-1B or leave. For students planning to stay and work, the H-1B system is being restructured. A new wage rule requires employers to pay significantly higher minimum salaries to sponsor foreign workers, making entry-level tech jobs harder to qualify for. At the same time, US immigration is backlogged at historic levels. The USCIS and immigration courts together have a backlog of over 10 million pending applications, slowing approvals for student visas, H-1Bs, opt and green cards as well. And enforcement is visible. The administration has also adopted a stricter policy on granting visas with tightened social media vetting and expanded screening. The US President Donald Trump-led administration has revoked roughly 80,000 non-immigrant visas. The cancellations stem from a wide range of offences, including driving under the influence, assault and theft. Around 16,000 of the visa revocations were tied to cases of driving under the influence, while about 12,000 were for assault and another 8,000 for theft. The scale of the revocations reveal a larger trend of immigration crackdown, which has led to the deportation of a record number of migrants, including individuals who still held valid visas. Canada, traditionally the fallback destination, has also tightened visa controls. It has reduced the number of international study permits for the second consecutive year in early 2025 as part of efforts to curb temporary migration and tackle student visa fraud. In mid-2024, Canada rejected 74% of Indian student visa applications, a steep rise from 32% last year, following a major investigation into fraudulent admissions and letters linked to private agents. The total number of Indian applicants fell sharply from 20,900 in August 2023 to 4,515 in August 2025. Despite India being Canada's largest source of international students for over a decade, it now has the highest study permit refusal rate among centuries, with more than 1,000 approved applicants. Canada colleges and other universities in Canada reported about 40 to 60% drops in new Indian enrollments, hitting revenue at universities that depend on international tuition. Canada rejected 3 in 4 Indian student visa applications, fearing fraud. The University of Waterloo, home to Canada's largest engineering school, has seen a 2/3 decline in Indian student enrollments over the past 3 to 4 years, and sentiment has shifted. Indian outbound counselors report a measurable decline in student interest in Canada as families perceive it as more uncertain than before. People think that this is not the right time to go to Canada because they have limited the post-study work right also to only 6 streams, and that is where a lot of students think that if they go and study something else, there is no post-study work and they will have to come back. Let's talk about this and the number of changes that have been put into place by the United States and Canada. Joining us on the show is Dr. Sharad Kohli, senior economist, Sumit Peer, political commentator, also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Kohli, what do you make of this? This is obviously an alarming thing for Indian students. Most parents earlier on used to think that the brightest option for their child or for their ward would be to send them off to Canada or the United States, where they could either get hired, become a citizen and live off the American dream, or they could come back, do well in India, think of a startup and excel in their professional life. But there seems to be once again this tightening of systems, which is for one reason or the other, affecting Indians the most. Why do you think that is?
Good evening, Vineet. Good evening to Sumit, whom I can see on the screen. And of course, good evening to the dear NewsX viewers. I think there are many dimensions to it. The first dimension is that their own economies or the countries which are stopping the students from coming, the policy of protectionism. Their own economies are in doldrums, in one word. There are no houses to stay. The policies are such that they feel they cannot afford to have these people there. Little do they know that these are the very students and talent which has made their countries today what they are. Take, for example, America, the students who came there, converted to H-1B, later became citizens. Some of the biggest success stories come from that front. I think they've forgotten about that. So, as far as the local talent is concerned, I'm sorry to say, I don't mean to demean any US citizen, or I don't want to sound racist as well. But the local talent is at dearth. There is no doubt about that. So just wait after this happens, wait for another 5-10 years and see what kind of shortage of talents these countries are going to witness. Number one. Number two, uh, Canada, for example, the universities have already started sacking professors and the employees because of not taking Indian students. This is racism. This is economy in doldrums. The most important part, the most important dimension. I think there is no love lost as far as the Indian parents and their children are concerned. I think this is the golden opportunity. This is the country which is growing at 7.8%, the last recorded GDP. Even if we take it on an annualized basis, we're growing at about 6.5 to 7%. This is the place where you should be. You should be where the sun shines, and not to be at a place where economies are barely growing at this time. Canada is growing at about 1.5%. Same goes for America. Why would you like to go and try and thrive in a country where the economic growth is not there? Jobs are being cut. America has seen the biggest job cut in 22 years. Canada doesn't have jobs. Well, there may be success stories of people who must have gone decades ago. But what about now? Any student aspiring to go now should know that he or she is landing in a country which has literally got no future opportunities, which has literally got no career opportunities the way they used to be. So that's what I said. There is no love lost here, because what you can simply do is your own country provides you tremendous opportunities. And for the big middle class, Vineet, which was sending students, I must tell you, they're spending about 30 to 60 lakhs on the course. And sometimes, if they come from better off families, they sell their land, they sell their jewelry, they sell their life's fortune to send their children. And, he or she may or may not be successful. Well, the same money which is spent on these huge, so-called fancy courses, that can be used for a small startup here. And you could be a startup success story. So I think plenty of opportunities in the country. There is no dearth of education in this country. There is no dearth of good institutions in this country. And this country is in abundance as far as career opportunities are concerned. God save the destinations which are trying to be very, very protective, which do not want students there, which do not want good talent there to be coming. God save their countries for the next 5 to 10 years. They will be, I can guarantee you, they will be out of talent. They'll be out of quality, innovative personnel who have gone from here and who have created this country. I know for sure in Canada, some of the provinces in Canada, like Ontario, which is like British Columbia, which is comprised of Indian success stories. What about America's tech industry? Some of the finest tech companies in America, I'm not naming the top 5, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, some of the finest innovations done in these companies have been done by Indians. I think the administration of these countries should better know that. If they do not, they are spelling doom in the times to come, Beneath.
All right, fair enough. Good point. Sumit, how do you look at this challenge for Indian aspirants, who once thought that, or perhaps still think that America and Canada are the destination to be? if they want to do well in life.
Thanks for having me on your show. A good question and a good discussion today. And Dr. Kohli made some compelling points. But I'm going to take a slightly different dimension to that. Look, everything follows a product life cycle. It's like this, and it's like this. Everything what starts has to end. This American dream or Canadian dream is not infinite. It was maybe 20, 30 years back when we were struggling, when we were in the fragile five. Okay, you sell you everything and send aside your kid out of here. You say, ki bhai, wo jannat mil gayi. That was a kind of a notion. But today, see what we are doing, see what we are growing. There are 25 sectors or 25 industries where our number 1, 2, or 3rd in the world. We are a country which is going at the fastest rate. We have a demographic dividend which is going to last us for 70 years. We are the world's 3rd biggest startup ecosystem. We have 4th, 5th biggest highest foreign exchange reserves. We are a nuclear triad. We have a 4th biggest or a 3rd biggest most powerful army in the world. We are a democracy. The IPR is protected. Nobody is going to have a racist slur against. Nobody will tell you which country are you from. So if you look at my country, if you look at the opportunities of my country, these are phenomenal. You produce 40% of the total food grain of the world. And today, everybody is coming to you, as per Mr. Piyush Goyal, they're lining up to do FTAs with you. So when this is the potential, it's a blessing in the disguise. Why you should be worried? To me, it's not even a challenge. Why should we have our talented people go there? If you look at the most talented individuals who have even made India, who have made the Indian industry, who are still doing phenomenally well in India, how many of them did go to a foreign university and that is why they were successful? Look at that. It's not a silver bullet. There's nothing called a silver bullet there. Look at the United States of America, for example, if you want to have an American dream. There was recently this 4th plenum of China, and they came up with something very interesting. Plenum is that powerful meeting of the Communist Party, wherein they said, we have to look at a China which goes beyond America. And somebody asked, why do you talk about that? It's your biggest trading partner and all that and all that. They say America is dying. Say, why? Though China has $70 trillion of debt, they say America is dying because somebody asked, why? He said, look, you have almost $40 trillion of debt, almost now, and you are printing the dollar. You are printing the dollar, yet you have $40 trillion of debt, right? There was a time, every 1 second you are adding $100,000 of debt. There was a time in 90 to 100 days, approximately 100 days, they were adding 1 trillion to their debt. Now, mashallah, it has come to 69 days. So in 69 days, you are adding 1 trillion to their debt. So that is how fast the economy is collapsing. Literally, America is controlled today by Saudis and Qataris, and Saudis and Qataris are literally controlling, the Oval Office. Now, if you look at Canada, Canada's economy somewhat is related to America, is somewhat interlinked with the American economy. If the main engine has started getting slow, the bogies will get slow. And then, unfortunately, Canada has become a playground. Who lives in Canada nowadays? Look, all the Pakistani retired generals live there. It is the backyard for ISI and Chinese intelligence. All the real estate is controlled by Chinese, right? And all the nefarious murders which have happened in Canada, they have no head and tail who killed them. Now, why do you want to go to a country which are going down the spiral at an alarming rate? Your country is coming up. Your country is the best. And what is the cost of education here? I'll agree with Dr. Kohli when he says, why do you want to put up 1 crore and getting some kind of a degree there? In 1 crore we need, even if you do a unitary entrepreneurship, मैं तो कहता हूँ startup छोड़ो यार, 2 दुकान खोल दो. I'm telling you, in 4 or 5 years, you will be a lakpati, or maybe if you're lucky, a crorepati in this industry, in this economy. Just do a retail shop. What is the point of going there? What is the psychophancy of going there? What is this Velaitu concept? That has gone into our head and blood. Isn't it a slave? Is it a sign of enslavement? ये एक मानसिक दुर्बलता नहीं है? Aren't we mentally still enslaved?
Right. And Sumit, you're absolutely right. We have more to in fact talk about. On the flip side of this, there are other countries that are opening their doors to Indian students. Starting off with Germany. Germany's ambassador to India, Philippe Ackermann, praised skilled Indians and welcomed them with open arms. Germany offers stable migration policies and strong opportunities in it. Management, science and technology. Let's in fact listen in to what he had to say.
This is a good moment to talk about Indians working in Germany. Indians are amongst the top earners in Germany. The average Indian working in Germany earns more than the average German working in Germany. And that's pretty good news. Because a high salary means that Indians are contributing big time to our society and our welfare. Highly skilled Indians are welcome in Germany.
Well, that is, of course, a refreshing take. Indian students are increasingly choosing Europe over the United States for higher education. A study shows a 63% drop in the number of students heading to the US between 2023 and 2025, marking a clear shift in global study preferences. UK sees a rise from 16% to 39% from 23 to 25. Similarly, along the same time, Germany has seen a rise from 4% to 9%. Ireland has taken a rise from 3% to 7.6%. Australia has also remained steady at 7%, whereas Canada is down from 11% to 2.3%. Japanese ambassador to India also made a statement inviting Indian students to come and study in Japan. He said that Indian students can get visas easily to study in Japan by submitting their student ID, and that it is extremely easy. Let's listen into what he had to say.
One message to Indian people, particularly Indian young people, please go to Japan to study and to work. If you are students, it's so easy to get visa.
James Lawless, Ireland's education minister, had said his country is very welcoming for students and has a supportive post-study employment visa arrangement as well. He stated that Ireland is a very welcoming country and they have a very cosmopolitan culture. He stated that they have many nationalities now in Ireland and many people have made it their home, including many Indians. He also talks about how there is a 2-year window for students. Well, India joins 8 other nations on New Zealand's prestigious list of qualifications exempt from assessment, which is the LQEA. This move eliminates the previously mandatory international qualification assessment for most Indian degree holders, accelerating their access to New Zealand's skilled migration and work visa streams. This change is more than just administrative housekeeping. It is a strategic recalibration of New Zealand's talent pipeline. Applicants from newly included LQEA countries can now apply directly under the skilled migrant category, green list roles and accredited employer work visa schemes. These are not merely immigration categories. They are fast lanes to residency, employment and ultimately long-term integration. French ambassador to India, Thierry Mathieu, outlined France's vision to welcome 30,000 Indian students by 2030, nearly tripling current numbers. He noted that around 8,000 Indian students registered for the 23-24 academic year, with the 10,000 mark likely to be crossed this year. Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Services, a leading public medical university in Tanzania, is inviting applications from Indian students for postgraduate courses in various fields, including medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, nursing, traditional medicine and public health. The university encourages Indian students to explore these opportunities as a part of its efforts to promote international academic collaboration. Well, this is of course the silver lining here. Sumit, I'm going to come back to you. Do you think with all these countries realizing that one country's loss is another country's gain is the intelligent thing to do? You know, geopolitical dominance has often changed from time to time. But perhaps this will be the first time that America is shooting itself in the foot by declining and discouraging Indian students from going there. It is not only a source of income for these universities, but it has also been a source of extraordinary talent that has contributed to the American startup ecosystem exorbitantly.
We need shooting itself in the foot has become a national sport of America and Donald John Trump. I'm not surprised at that. That is what they are doing perpetually every day. And this is one of the aspects. Look, there was a time when Marco Rubio said that Chinese students are intellectual moles. They're stealing IPR from us. I'm going to cancel the visas. After 15 days, his boss, the big boss, the president says, I'm increasing from 300,000 visas to 600,000 visas for Chinese students. And 2 days back, he was again saying that there is a lot of intellectual, property theft which China does from us. So America is a confused house where even Marco Rubio or Pete Hegseth doesn't know what Donald Trump thinks or what is he going to say next time. It was rightly said by our Chief General Dwivedi. He doesn't know what he's talking. That's exactly where he stands. So coming to the logical part of the question, we need, yes, somebody's gain. Loss is somebody's gain. But look, if I talk of Germany, Angela Merkel got their 1 million peace force and there are now no-go zones for the police. So, and Japan is a aging population. And, everybody looks at us because we have the 70 years of demographic dividend. We have 800 million youth, which is highest in the world. They want a pie from our cake. Now the call is us, because look what America has done and what Canada has done. It's a socio-economic issue. It's a socio-political issue. Sorry, not a socio-economic issue. It's a socio-political issue. They can change the goalpost any day. If you are a best football player, and if I have the liberty of changing the goalpost mid game, you may be anybody in the world. You may be, you may be whoever who is the best. You may be a Beckham or whoever. If I can do that, there's never you can go and win a match with me. That trend has started in the world. Look at as an option where you can go and do something and come back. I have been always saying that, that route wherein you go for studying and then you take a green card and then you go citizen, that is going to ultimately end. If you go to any of the Middle Eastern countries, and we have a lot of people there, there's nothing called permanent, there's nothing called a passport, there is nothing called a citizenship. You might be there for 50 years, you get a visa, you make your money, and one day, assalamu alaikum, and come back. That is how you have to look at it. As long as you're going there to make money and get it back to India, I am with you. But if you want to sell your house here, you want to sell your land property here and give them the money, well, that's not, unfortunately, and give them your youth and the money. That's not how the model should work. Everybody is looking to us from their perspective. What do they need? What suits their bill?
All right.
It's not what suits us.
We've run out of time. I'm going to quickly also take a response from Dr. Kohli on some of these other nations who are more than welcome in their stance towards having Indian students come over. Dr. Kohli, it makes perfect economic sense for them as well.
Well, absolutely. I think this is a very welcome statement coming from Germany, from Japan, Ireland welcoming. I think they all know, the whole world knows the talent which India has. So which country will not want this talent to be in their country? After all, as I said earlier, if Canada, America today are what they are, although the economy is not doing well at all, but whatever they are because of the Indian talent there. And as the German ambassador said, the Indians earn more salary than average German. But then this is where the problem emanated from, Vinny. In America and Canada, that's what they said. You Indians go back because you take away our jobs. So this is a transitional phase. Today, Germany, Japan, I don't mean to disrespect. I really put on record my appreciation for the statements made. But this is a temporary phase. Tomorrow, when there are a lot of Indians there, the same thing will start happening. So the ultimate solution to this problem, Vinny, is that this country has got some excellent institutions. Study here, make your life here. The kind of lifestyle you can afford here, you will have to do your own bartan and kapda there. When you study there, you will have to do everything, cook for yourself. Here you've got your mother serving hot and food out of the oven for you. There you will have to go and stay and do everything. And there is no guarantee that every story of a person landing there is going to be a success story. Only one in a million make it big. Not everybody makes it big. So why waste your youth? I agree with Sumit. Why waste your youth and go and give your youth to those people? End up taking drugs. Look what students in Canada have done. They are some of the worst stories in the world of students who went and lost their way. I think this is the place to be. Why not be in a country where the sun shines? This is the place to be. Study here, work here, make your country proud. Having said that, Vinny, I would like to reiterate, I respect and appreciate the statements made by Japan, Ireland and Germany welcoming the Indian students, because at least you'll escape the shootings which happen in America every other day.
Quite right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kohli and Sumit. Those are some important perspectives that definitely need to be attended to and given a lot of thought to. We take a short break now. Be right back.